What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another daily hack. And today we get to talk about one of our favorite things. We are sticking with the VTS subject line this week. And today we're talking about the V in the VTS, which is all about visibility. But first, what's going on, Ron?
Oh my gosh, I am glad to be back at it. It's always good to be Monday.
Yes.
Always good to be Monday.
Happy Monday to everybody watching live, and happy Friday to those listening.
Yeah,
Which
I
spot? I
think
don't
it
know.
is. It's
I
the
think
end of the spectrum. Time
yeah,
just flies. You never know when it is.
time just flies. So whether you're watching, whether you're listening, whether you're live, or whether you're later, we definitely appreciate every one of you and appreciate you listening in, tuning in, and hopefully you get the value that we are trying to give. So, but visibility.
Yep.
That word, Ron, seems to be thrown around a lot lately. And there's so many different takes on how one can get visible or how one should get visible. But I would love to hear your thoughts just on visibility in general before we kind of dive into what we do with our company and all that. But yeah, just what are your favorite things on visibility? What are your things you hate for that people do on visibility? Like just riff for a second and tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, no, like I think what I hate the most is when there's not a plan, right? When you just kind of throw things out because then consistency is out the window.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, it's about consistency and making sure the message is on brand and you're not all over the place that way. Because when you're starting to get visible, you want to be consistent in not only your timing of when things go out, but your branding associated with that because you want to make sure everybody, when they see something that resonates with them, it automatically comes back to you, your brand, your course, your company, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You want it to kind of match and not just have a haphazard approach to visibility. There is a system, there is a process, and that's what I love that we can help people do.
Yeah, 100%. But the thing that you mentioned there that I 100% agree with the most, and uh, if you're not doing this out there, you're doing it wrong, and that is the consistency piece, right? And
Yep.
I don't care what you're doing, you've got to be consistent with it. I don't care if you have a weekly live that you do on Facebook, a weekly show that you do on a podcast, a weekly blog that you do in the interwebs, wherever you want to be, right? Like there's got to be the consistency. The posting on the social platforms, again, don't start until you can be consistent. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I've learned from what we've done over the last, I don't know, 3 years now, is the success occurs when the consistency happens.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
yes, you got to find the way to be on brand. You got to find a way to make sure the messages it fits with what you're offering. But at the end of the day, you got to show up, and that's the biggest thing. Like when we help people launch their podcast, it it starts with consistency, and then it works on message, right?
Right. Right. Right.
I mean,
Just like
it's
the same
it
play we played, right? We started on consistency, worked on the messaging.
yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about visibility for us. Now,
Mhm.
visibility, what's been our plan that we've gone through? Uh, I don't know, maybe the last year. I know there's been variations of it, but really 2020, I know part of the plan started and then we had an increase and all that on the podcast side. But overall, what's been the visibility play that we've been running?
We go live on these crazy shows that we do, right? Like our podcast and this daily hack show. And then what we do is we take that and use that for content, either quotes, little tiny video pieces, anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And when we go live, so let's back up. When we go live, it's a consistent day, right? and it's a consistent time because that's the only time we did our interviews at certain times,
Yeah.
right? And now we're trying to do this 10-10 for 10 minutes thing, and we're getting better at the consistency and the timing for that. But we're live in our Facebook group. Corey, you share it to your profile. It's on my profile. It's on YouTube. So there's 4 places we're live instantly. Then it gets published to our iTunes platforms. So for those people that just listen to our podcast and don't watch us, why not? Come on. But you can go to Facebook groups /profits with, join the group. But then it's on all the podcast platforms, right?
Yeah.
Then when it's live on the podcast platforms, we have about 10 to 12 shareables for stories. Now, this is outside of our posting schedule. This is just for the podcast.
Yeah.
Then, about 2 weeks later down the road, it's all broken up into micro content, little videos, little story shareables that people can kind of relive the episode and get the main meat parts of it. And it creates this sense to people that follow you that you're everywhere all the time, always on the platforms, which isn't the case. It's just how we've planned for us to be omnipresent.
Yeah, and so I guess the question that people might be asking is that really there's 2 questions. One, and maybe we'll tackle this in a second, is like, what if I can't? What if I don't know how? Like, A, talk to us, we'll tell you. But B, but 2, what if, like, why would we do that? Why would we want to be omnipresent? Why would we want to go live and be in 4 places and then put it on the podcast platforms? Like, what's the why behind being out there for our people?
Yeah. So people learn differently. People respond to things different. People have a favorite platform. So if your favorite platform is TikTok, Corey's not on it. If your favorite platform is Instagram, you're seeing our stuff on Instagram. If your favorite platform is Facebook, you're seeing us on Facebook. If your favorite platform is LinkedIn, you're seeing us on LinkedIn. If your if your favorite platform is podcasts, wherever it is that you listen, that's where you get our message. So even though for us it seems like there's a lot of stuff going out, depending where our tribe is located and how they choose to interact with us, we want to be there for them and be able to get the message out to them in their habitat, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I am on Instagram for our stuff, and I look at stories.
Right.
Maybe once a day. That's it. Like, I don't look at anything else on Instagram. And so, but I know so many people, and so many people that they only live on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so if we didn't put our stuff there and on Facebook, then we would probably lose, half the visibility because of so many people that are just on Instagram, opposite of what I do. Right. And so definitely that's the why. And then the other piece to the why that you didn't mention, which I'm shocked you didn't mention this, but it's the frictionless side.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that is true. It's
Like
frictionless.
we go live and we use all the content from the show and put it in all the places because that's actually easier than everything else, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's the content is done for you.
right, right. Like I remember when we started the podcast, we were recording it and then we were like, oh, we got to go live on Facebook, and that was separate. And then, oh, we got to talk to people in our Facebook group, and that was separate. And then we would drop the ball on multiple things, never the podcast.
Right.
And so this way now we can be live on Facebook, we can be live in our group, and we can take care of the podcast needs, and it's all at once, plus all the extra content that comes from it. And and obviously there's tons of different other content we have and can do, but again, it's kind of the play starts with the podcast, and the podcast starts with live, and it's all frictionless because of it.
Yep.
So that is one of my favorite pieces. So, all right. So to wrap it up, I think the whole conversation is well, how do I get things branded? How do, we talked podcast last week. What if I can't edit a podcast? Well, guess what? HHM does that.
Mhm.
Um, what if you just want a quick 30-minute call to talk a strategy? Oh, guess what? Feel free to book it with us. There's no charge. We will
Right.
happily jump on a call and figure out what would your visibility strategy need to be to best suit your efforts and to best suit, kind of where you want to go. So
Yep.
I think that's I don't know. That was not a planned like call out that we were going to do today, but yeah, if you're listening to this or watching this, there's a link to a Calendly, and absolutely just shoot us a DM, book a call on the Calendly if you're in the podcasting show notes. Send us a message if you're on Facebook, like wherever, and let's book a call and let's have a conversation. And Ron and I'd be happy to help.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys. Look forward to talking to you, especially if you want to get on that call. If not, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.